What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of AOS Trash Pandas. I'm your host, Rob, and with me, as always, is my buddy Carson. How's it going, Carson?
I'm doing pretty good, Rob. How are you? Oh,
I'm
I
doing
didn't like
pretty
that.
good. My radio voice is ticking up nicely, and yeah, it's just all chill here, bro.
I feel like you changed between when
I
you asked me
did.
there.
I
Okay.
did. Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of finding it, right?
Yeah,
It's somewhere out
exactly.
there. It's just
My voice. It definitely
distant
got
view.
worse. It actually got worse. Oh, man. Thanks to everyone for joining us. I see you got Dubrock and Ledivicus in the chat already. Last stream before reveals. That is correct. It's tomorrow. We are going to be, whatever you called, along for the ride. We're going to be streaming the live event and reacting to it, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think so. It starts at 6 p.m. our time, right?
It starts at 8 p.m. our time,
Oh, okay.
10 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Starts at 2 a.m. our time?
That would almost be preferable if it weren't for the fact that, like, no one's going to be up. But
Yeah. I mean, people will wake up for it, I think.
at
Some people will. I'm pretty sure. I
during
think the
the
people
week,
that are
yeah.
crazy enough to... Actually, I would almost wager that there would be more people watching a stream like a smaller stream like ours at a weird time like that for a reveal. Just because if you're crazy enough to stay at 2 a.m., you're crazy enough to just be like I don't know, like tuning into random streams and stuff like that, seeing what everyone's reactions are.
Or you could say if you're crazy enough just to tune into us at all, you're probably crazy enough
True.
to tune in at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do 2 a.m. The ones that I can't do is like the 6 a.m. Yeah. But
That time doesn't
thankfully,
even exist for me.
exactly. Yeah. I've seen that time in the movies mostly, but yeah. Actually, that's not true. I used to do the opening shift at a coffee shop when I was just after high school.
Yeah.
That
It's
was
not true for
awful.
me either. I used to do powerlifting in the morning before
Right.
going to to work in a metal shop because I'm a man.
Yeah.
And I would
He's
wake up
lying, everyone. It was a flower shop. Yeah.
Yeah, I would try to get there when the gym opened at 5 a.m. So I'd be waking up at like 4:30, and I don't know how I did that for like 6 months, but I did.
Yep. Yep. The opener is same as me. The opener starts at 5 a.m. because you have to get all the coffee and everything ready. And yeah. I used to walk down in the winter at that time, and it was awful. And then sometimes my mom was kind enough to drive me down there. So I wasn't supposed to, but I'd run in there and make her like a giant cappuccino with like 2 or 3 shots of espresso in there. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Lock him up.
Exactly.
We found him.
Yeah,
After all these years.
yeah. Well, the thing was too is I don't like coffee. And so like I wasn't even consuming. I mean, it didn't. I'm still whatever. You know. It's still not okay. But I don't know. Whatever. Actually, the statute of limitations was so up on that. It would be up on that even if it was murder. I was 18. Oh man. Yeah.
Is that true?
I don't
I feel
know.
like this is wildly off topic at this point.
Probably.
I don't think
I
it's
mean-
true. I feel like if they were able to prove that you murdered someone when you were 18, I think you'd get charged. I don't think that.
I don't know what the
statute
statute
of
of limitations is actually. Yeah, it's like I thought it was like 10 years, but again,
Again, I don't think there's an expiry date when it comes to murder.
Maybe
I feel
not.
like if they can prove like with beyond a reasonable doubt that you murdered someone, even if it was like 40 years ago, I'm pretty sure you're getting tried for that, like or charged with that.
I think that's probably true. I don't know. I don't remember. Don't like coffee? Yeah, just never like coffee. I love green tea. Is that okay? Sorry to
tea's nice.
disappoint. Oh, Dubrock is Matthew. Yo, Matthew. Thanks, man. Howdy, my balls. Dale, once again.
Hey, my
Sorry.
balls.
Hey. He's looking down at the screen. He's got
Yeah,
another
there's a
screen,
screen
down
down there.
Yeah.
It's on my phone. Yeah, see.
Yeah. Oh, man. So did you get a chance to look at the rumor engine?
I actually haven't. This is one of the first times that this is like the first time I'm seeing it on stream.
Mhm.
And this is clearly Slaanesh, of course. You can tell just by the silhouette of it, I think.
What makes you say that?
Just something about the oozing,
Oh, the oozing.
and the tip.
Yeah,
tip.
that's right. I mean, it is in black and white, so we can't tell what color that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I love that. Like after I said that, I was hoping for like even the tiniest bit of a chuckle or a laugh or something, and it was completely dead. You're just like,
I I usually err on the side of taking people seriously. I didn't want to call you a moron in case you were a moron, you know? But
oh yeah.
yeah, I am, but it might be Slanesh. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, this could be anything. It could even be like a weird power sword or something, but we haven't seen that sort of.
No.
Actually, it's probably not a power sword. It probably is AOS. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think it's 40K because of the wavy tip thing. If you look at the preview of the preview image or whatever, like the thumbnail, it's in black and white and it's covered up. All I saw was the kind of poison or whatever that is off the blade. And so that's like the exact CAD file they use on a lot of the Skaven ones. So I was like, oh, it's Skaven, but I've never seen them hold anything like that sword. So I definitely don't think it's Skaven. I don't know, if I were to guess, yeah, Slanesh actually isn't bad, but the wavy lines, I was kind of leaning towards something kind of elfy, but then like what has poison?
What elf uses like just a straight up sword as well? They're always doing something weird because they can't handle being normal.
Yeah, that's true. New Blood Angels. Oh, I think it's a power sword. Too clean for AOS. Maybe it looks, but like with the fuller on there. I mean, I think they have them in 40K too. They tend to be wider blades though. Although maybe it's like, maybe it's Drukari or something like that. I could see them using poison and like a barbed tip. I don't know.
Yeah, but if it was Drukari, it would be awful looking. Like it would look
That's
like
true.
this sword looks like a sword that could exist
Actually,
in real life. Right?
And this is, I mean, I won't say positive, but it is, they've definitely used GW metallic paint on this because you can see the pixels like it is, right? You can see them from orbit. So I'm thinking, and they don't use a lot of metallic paints on 40K stuff. They tend to go more for, what's it called? NMM. Yeah.
Non-metallic metal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, on power swords, it's like plasma-esque or like... I guess it is a non-metallic metal, but it's like blue, essentially.
Yeah, usually. Or even if they do it like a weird... Yeah, anyway. We have to... Dark Oath! Ooh, that's not a bad call. If they're getting a box, they might get another hero character.
We've seen the whole box, though, right?
We've seen the whole box, but like Flesh Eater Court's got a box, and then they got like a whole bunch of other crap.
Yeah, that's true. This could also be in the realm of AOS 4.
It could be.
Reveals, too. Like, this could be, a
So
sword that
many
a Stormcast is holding or something like that in the starter box, maybe.
Oh, I didn't see Dale. I think Soulblight Gravelords, that's actually a good call. They do tend to have sort of fancier swords. I like that. Slobber, clearly Slobber. Just sucking on my sword. Ooh. Oh, no. Yeah. It's too thin to be like anything to do with ogres, but I had like a funny idea of them like sticking meat into meat, like bringing it off, like a shish kebab, and then that's the slobber.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
But the sword is too dainty for them.
Yeah.
New Stormcast sword covered in Skaven blood. That was actually one of my original thoughts, was because like this new chamber's got to be something quite different, or they're redoing a bunch of old kits. Hopefully, I don't know. I actually don't even know what to like. If they add more kits, it's just like, oh my god, guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say thoughts and prayers to the Stormcast players out there who
I
want to be able
know.
to actually like process their
And like even the
notebook.
future like Stormcast players who are going to join, you're just like, yeah, good luck with all that. Your Honor. Big Ron is in the house. Dark Oath something something riddle of steel. I like that. Yeah. Something something dark oath. Something something complete. Yeah. So that's something to look forward to. That's
all the content for tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, technically we did get like I don't know if we're going to watch it or not, but there was there was like another preview movie. Did you get a chance to watch it?
I didn't actually watch it. It's the Sigmar Lied Part 2 thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of 18 new Skaven kits setting out to bankrupt Rob for his terrible Scottish accent. Hey, I brought that one back, Dale. I'll have you know, like, I went full, like, how do I say this? Crazy, like, over-the-top Scottish accent for the first Fire Slayers battle report that we put out. And then, like, one of the Scottish Patreons was just like, it's not the worst I've ever heard. So I was like, oof, because he's such a nice guy. So I was like, okay, I got to just dial it way back when I actually, it's the only one I've ever remade because I was just like, yeah, that was, usually the key is to really just don't hold back. But yeah, so I brought it way back. Some people liked it. But you know what, though? If they put out 18 new Skaven kits and bankrupt me, there are worse fates,
Yep, that's true.
Like, I've got
blood.
blood.
Leading up to all of this, and then they just, like, squat Skaven.
Yeah, exactly.
Sigmar lied that Skaven even exist.
Yes.
They don't exist whatsoever. He's just been lying about them this whole time.
Sigmar lied when he said we were going to get new Skaven kits. Like, oh, yeah. No. Yeah, that's a much worse fate. I've got kidneys. I've got blood, I thought about taking it like 2 steps too far there and then, dialed it back. But Sigma lied was better because memes. That's true. It's not true, my balls, but it is true. Like, the memes were better because this one is just way cooler. Right? But something I want to point out. So, I mean, like, it's jokes aside, it's pretty obvious that it's going to be Skaven. Okay, I can't mute this ahead of time. Okay. I hope that didn't get anyone's ears. I'm going to turn it way down. If I do full screen, nope, that doesn't work at all. It just goes, it's just like, nope. Streamlabs, everyone. Okay, well, what about this? Wait, what is this? Oh, it's picture in picture. Don't need that. Okay. How are we going to do this? I'll just play it from here, okay? But you see the fire? I wonder if the Aquashi rumors are true. Like, this background, it looks kind of like Ulgu, but it also looks like Aquashi. Like, I don't think we need to point out the obvious, warp lightning in the background there, but it's more Daughters of Cain that Carson will let me use. I mean, hopefully. Well, actually not hopefully. Hopefully it's Skaven. We don't need any more Daughters of Cain.
I was kind of hoping they would continue it with, like, the 2-word things. So, like, Sigmar lied.
That would have been
then,
so
like,
cool.
Nagash stood, or something like that. And then Morathi sat.
Yeah. 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 I like that. That would have been a lot better. Oh, man. Yeah, 2 words would have been more. There would have been like more impact. You know. I'm just glad it's cool. I still get mad thinking about the Beastmen goats on Cars intro. So lame. On Cars intro. The Beastmen goats. I'm going to have to dissect that a little bit more. Think about that. This one feels unnecessary. It was kind of unnecessary, like, in a way, but we've already seen the sprue Maballs, so I feel like, you know, Marathi squats. She coils. I don't know that she can even squat. Oh no, I guess she has a human form. Never mind. Cigar died. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that was the first one. The first one was like less obvious, if that's what you mean. And the second one is more obvious, but the cat was already out of the bag. I mean, obviously they already had it planned, because that's not the kind of thing you make up in a couple of days. But it's, I don't know. Like, I've been saying Skaven now for a long time, and I made the bold call of Umbraneth. It's clearly not going to be that. We are trapped in a perpetual hell of new Stormcast models every new edition, even though, anyway. But if the rumors and or leaks are true and they're doing something really new and original with them, like, there's still the hope that they'll make them more interesting and they'll get rid of some of the old kits. Because, again, like, seriously, like, someone needs to help the Stormcast players, you know? It's just not fair.
I think multiple people have been saying it, but it would be kind of nice if they took a lot of the similar kits and just combined them into one unit, where it's just like, doesn't matter what weapon options you have, you can still use your models.
Yep.
But
like Retributors become Annihilators.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of them.
And you just like combine all that into one thing.
Yeah.
And just simplifies it. And yeah, because it's just, Stormcast is honestly one of those armies that I dislike fighting. I dislike playing against, not because their playstyle or like the people that play them or anything like that, but it's just like I can't possibly remember all of these like random little things. It's like, this hero does this specific thing, and most of it's kind of bad, but
yeah,
it's just annoying that
that
you know, that you just can't keep up with the army,
right.
Whereas at least with almost every other army, I think you have a very good idea of like what it does after playing it once.
I think the next closest thing is probably Fire Slayers, but they just don't have any units. Like,
I think with Fire Slayers, the difference is that every unit looks the exact same.
Yes.
And I guess to some extent that's the case for Stormcast too.
A little bit.
They all look very similar, so it's kind of tough to know what is what.
Yeah.
I think that's a gripe that some people have with Ogres too, where it's like, what is a Glutton? What is an Iron Gut? What is it? Like, if you're just not familiar with them, but yeah.
What is the difference between a Glutton and an Iron Gut? Like, I
Glutton,
know one of them has like those really big polearm weapons, right?
Yeah, the Iron Guts just have two-handed weapons. And then if you build them according to how they are in the kit, I think they also have helmets and what's it called? Like shields on their shoulders.
Oh, okay.
So they're kind of different, but yeah.
So Gluttons have shields.
No. Iron Guts
do.
do.
Iron Guts have shields and two-handed weapons.
Yeah.
And then the
Gluttons are just two weapons.
Two weapons. Oh, okay, cool. No shields.
Yeah.
Neat. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, that's just one thing though. Like, I don't think that's that hard.
No, but there have been times where I've been playing a match against someone and I have a big blob of ogres and they're just like, okay, where does this unit end? What is going on?
Yeah.
That's understandable.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, I guess you didn't put the shields on their shoulders.
I did, but it's still like,
okay.
If you don't know that that's difference, then
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, like, Space or not Space Marines, God dang it, Stormcast Eternals. I just at the start of every game, I'm just like, okay, like I remember Vanguard or whatever they're called, the Raptors, the ones that shoot, like certain things like that. The the ones on the mini dragons that are fulminators, I think. That a lot of it's the naming conventions too, like anyway, but yeah, we'll see. Oh man, I'm so curious what they're gonna do. The rumor though is that we're not gonna get we're just gonna get like a teaser trailer, like CGI, like we did at for Dominion, like we did for 40K 10th and 9th and the Horus Heresy, and the first time it's just a CGI trailer, there's no miniatures shown.
I think they did show miniatures right after, though, in the same preview.
I don't remember.
I think it wasn't everything, but it was like they showed a couple things. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I hope that's right, because like that's so the rumor that we saw was just CGI, no anything else, and I hope that's wrong, because like this much build up, like we've already had a couple of little dinky trailers, and then if they just show like a CGI trailer, and then it's like cool, but we want to see some minis, right? Yeah. Pretty soon I'm going to be able to retire the old meme. Yo, Big Ron. Thank you so much. The judge is in the house.
You did it, you guys. And I was like, what do we do?
Yeah, I did it, you guys.
Thank you, Big Ron.
Oh, RC, I did it. You guys rock. Hey, that is super kind. We really appreciate the support. Those kinds of things mean a lot more, because they really, like, it helps compound into YouTube with our algorithm and stuff like that. So yeah, that stuff is very, very much appreciated. Thank you again. If we don't at least see minis from the release box, we riot. I'm down for some good rioting, right?
Haven't had a nice riot since 2010?
2011.
2011, right.
Yeah. What's crazy is I knew what you were talking about. And also I knew the year. Like I yeah.
2010 was the Olympics, that's right.
2010 was the Olympics, yeah. That's right. Oh man. There was no riot during the Olympics, by the way. It was the Canucks getting to game 7 again, and then losing again, like we did in '94. It's kind of our thing.
It's the only thing Canadians riot over.
Yep. It's the only thing that like Vancouverites riot over. Yep. It's weird. Anyway, that's a digression again, but I missed Mabal's thing earlier. He said this feels like it's showing too much. When Sigmar lied, or the Sigmar lied one had more food for thought. That's true. I mean, we haven't like even seen like any. We've only seen like, what do you call it, terrain and scenery. But I don't know. I actually like this one a lot. I guess it's not as popular. Like I was the most hyped for this one, but it's so much more obviously Skaven, I guess is why. But like it's got like that feeling of like they're working on something in like a secret laboratory, and they're cooking up some crazy stuff. Hey, Big Ron, we really appreciate it. I don't know if you're going to be here, but we are doing we're watching the live stream, and we're going to be broadcasting it. Even Vancouverites will riot if we don't see minis. They'll just apologize profusely afterwards. That's pretty accurate. Yeah. That's pretty darn accurate. There are worse things to be known for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah. I almost said something rude about another Canadian city, but I was like, you know what? I'm Canadian. I'm not going to do it.
Keep it civil.
Yeah, keep it civil.
We think those thoughts and we tell them to our close friends, but we don't say them on public channels.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true.
Yep.
Damn.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, Big Ron. Gifted a membership to Dale. Thank you. That's really kind of you. It's very much appreciated.
Yeah, I think Big Ron, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be coming to the Battered Bison GT. So, or actually, speaking of other Canadian cities,
he is, yeah.
In Winnipeg, we are, or not, I don't know why I said we. One of the people that teams in sometimes, Beefy Crunch, is going to be hosting a tournament, which I think has like 72 slots or something. There's already over 30 people signed up. I'm going to be there. Kenrick is going to be there. There's a chance that maybe one or a couple other people from our club are going to be there. Big Ron is going to be there. So if you ever want to go to a tournament and see familiar faces, then stop on by.
Yep.
And another thing too is if you're in the Pacific Northwest, Wet Coast is not going to be this weekend, but the next weekend. And list submission is on Friday, or due Friday. Rather.
Right. Yeah, you're TOing your first tournament. Is it? No, it's the weekend after next.
Yep.
It's Easter weekend, right?
Easter weekend, yeah.
So, yeah, that's exciting. And sorry, when is the Battered Bison?
Battered Bison is going to be the weekend of June 1st and 2nd.
June 1st and 2nd.
I'll be flying out May 31st.
Cool. Nice. 1 second. So June and then end of that. So you got like, well, June. Sorry, it's June what?
1st and 2nd?
What? So it might be the first tournament of AOS 4?
No, almost definitely not. I think AOS 4 is usually like...
Right, because they have to do it like a week before.
Exactly, yeah. It might be like the last tournament of AOS 3, but...
That's cool. I mean, you know, I think we might have said this before, but like the first tournament isn't the best one usually because like no one knows what's going on. It's the Wild West. People are scrambling to just figure stuff out, right?
Yeah, I would say the first tournament isn't the best one for like what the meta represents. Sure.
Yeah.
But if you're at one of those tournaments,
it's
a lot of fun. Yeah,
yes,
it's a lot of fun because it's just like no one knows what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, someone reads something, they're like, "Oh my god, like this is insane," and then you truly experience over 5 games like how this is actually supposed to play.
And then afterward, you found out that you were playing like half the rules wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Big Run, I think you're thinking I'm talking about Battered Bison list submission deadline. That's probably not for a very long time. I'm saying Wet Coast, the tournament that I'm running in about a week and a half here, is the lists are due this Friday. So
yeah,
at 11:59 p.m.
Cut off.
And we will not be doing a list review show because the lists are private until the event starts.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I mean, that works quite well, you know, with our other scheduling and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I just think that it's not something that like really is going to affect the tournament too much, probably. Right. But I think that it's something that helps like a new player that's coming in. I want to like have it like as even of a playing field as possible because like if everyone knows everyone else's lists, the super experienced players are going to read through every list and just know like, okay, if I play this person, I'm going to be expecting this. If I play this person, I'm expecting this.
Right.
Whereas the new player is just going to go show up for the tournament, right?
Right.
So like if you kind of level that out a little bit, it's maybe a little more fair. And then the same thing with the way that we're doing the mission packs. It's not just 5 picked missions, it's 7 missions, and we're just going to randomly pick one each round.
Oh, cool.
So that 2 of the missions in the pack, like the player pack, aren't even going to be played at all.
Neat.
Right? So
I think that's a really cool and refreshing idea.
And it's nothing too like huge, like ground shaking to like piss people off essentially. I think that I don't know. It's just maybe it doesn't matter at all, but I feel like it's something that's fun. And I feel like there's going to be like, I'm hoping to make it a bit of a ceremony before each round where we like spin the wheel to see what the battle plan is going to be. Woo! And just, yeah.
Cool. Hell yeah. The, oh shoot. Well, it's an interesting idea because if you're like a top level player, you know all of them back and forwards anyway, you know? And if you're brand new to it, you know, and you want to research them and just make sure you understand how they work, you can do that too. You only have to learn 7. It's only 2 more.
Yeah.
But I like it. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Leviticus asks, why do they call it Wet Coast, by the way? Because we live in a rainforest.
Yep.
Temperate rainforest.
I also think it's probably like a little bit of a play on words on West Coast.
It is. Yeah. But it's West Coast and it's a rainforest. And
exactly. So. Yep. It's true. Shabadoo. There's it's the oldest tournament for it's the oldest tournament that I know about in the area. Like, it's been going on for a really long time. Kippers might be older. What's that?
It stopped for all of COVID. Like,
it did.
This is the first time that it's going to be happening in, I think, 4 years.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I thought it that's right. Oh, I forgot that it didn't happen last year.
Yeah. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this might be the first time it had AOS at it, or if the last time it had AOS, it wouldn't have been very popular.
Andy did it last time. He was
did he? Okay, my
yeah,
bad.
and it was I forget. It was like 30 something people. I can't remember.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
we've got a little over 50 people signed up right now for the AOS side of things, and then they have just about 170 people for the 40K side.
Whoa! Holy moly! 170 people. Jeez.
Yeah. The whole event is going to be about 250 people, I think. Like, AOS gets its own room.
Cool.
Which is kind of nice.
We don't want to be with the heathens.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. PU.
Yeah.
That was really more of a comment on their body order, but
Yeah.
It's like Smash players,
Yeah. Yeah, I think Dale's right in the comments. Tacoma is probably going to be the first big event of AOS 4. That's kind of like mid-July.
Right.
So
that'll be the first big event, probably.
By big, I mean over 100 people.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be really curious though as to how things kind of shake out. Like, the most exciting time is right at the start, as we're all trying to figure out what's going on and how our armies work and stuff. But yeah.
Atlanta's going to be really interesting, the World Championships, because that's going to be 6 months after the edition releases. So I'd imagine we'll have maybe 3 or 4 actually released books.
Right. Usually the first books are September or October. Yeah. And what's crazy is I never remember that. This is the first time, because it always feels like they come out a month or 2 after. But I think it's because we're all scrambling. And if we're in indexes, it's going to be even more so. Right? Honestly, I'm so looking forward to the indexes. It's probably going to be 1 per faction, death, chaos, destruction, and order. Well, that's what it was in AOS 1.
Okay.
And yeah, the chaos one I remember was fat. And I mean, I guess we got a lot of order armies throughout the course of AOS 1, right? It really made them bigger, but I actually didn't buy the index because in the app you could just buy what you needed. You could just buy war scrolls. So I just bought the Skaven battalions, and then I didn't need anything else. But yeah, Skaven will rule for 6 months. I wouldn't be surprised. It seems like with Stormcast, it doesn't take long because they're always the first one, like Space Marines. So it doesn't take long before they're not great. And then by the end of the edition, you're trying to bring them back up again. So I wouldn't be surprised if that kind of zeitgeist is still permeating the people who make the rules is, psyche or whatever. And then they kind of make them OP. Skaven are also kind of hard to balance, I think, as a faction. They tend to be a little too good or a little too bad. So they tend to come out of the gate pretty hot, and then people are like, and then they just get nerfed, and then they spend most of the edition. It's kind of like Stormcast, actually. I remember that happened with in AOS 2 as well. But hopefully, and I think this is like something to keep in mind, hopefully we as a community can not be too reactive to, because like we're not going to understand. Like whatever the top army is, I think at first, it's not going to remain the top army. It might not even be that good. Like it'll just be like figuring out how to beat it for a while, you know?
Yep.
A lot of reactive stuff going on.
Interesting time.
I just realized
I would actually be surprised if they group things up based on Grand Alliance this time around. Just because there's been so much added since the last time that happened that
right.
It would be massive, right? And I feel like that would be harder to balance than just separating things by their faction and having like a super simple set of allegiance abilities.
You make a good point. Maybe they'll do the card thing because like that's what they did for 40k 10th edition, and it was by faction, and then it was, yeah. You make a great point. I weirdly like. It's probably some kind of nostalgia thing for me, but I remember 8th edition 40k and 1st edition AOS, those big fat indexes like that I bought, and it had all the war scrolls and everything in there that you needed, you know, for an entire faction. And I don't know, there was something about that. But then again, AOS 1 and 40k 8th was much more like it wasn't like you got this army and then there was like ally points and stuff like that. It was just like you played order or you played chaos or whatever. Like there were no army books and whatever at first. And in 8th edition too, you took, what were they called? Formations or battalions or whatever, something like that. And the more you took, the better. And they were actually encouraging you to mix armies until they realized that most of the player base doesn't like that. They prefer it when people are actually forced into taking a singular thing. It's kind of funny, but I felt the same way. So yeah, I think you're right.
I feel like there is a small subset of players that enjoys making soup lists as
Yep.
much as possible and just
Yep.
coming up with the craziest stuff. But that's like the hardest to balance, I think. And it's also like one of the most frustrating things to go up against as a player.
Yeah.
Just because if you see someone show up, it's just like, okay, I've got elves over here and some ogres over here, and there's some orcs right there, and there's some steam tanks right here. And with this special combo between all of these different things that the developers didn't think of, you lose. And you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That was kind of like cities in AOS 2 for a while. It was just like, yeah, good luck with all that, because you could just take whatever you want from like most of the good guys of the old world, or good guys in quotation marks or whatever. But the issues with indexes is that it means they are fundamentally changing how the game plays, which might be an issue, especially if they make the game like 40k, which sucks with how you buy rules, need to buy. So I don't think they're going to change that you need to buy rules, Maballs, because that's been a staple of AOS from the beginning. But what I do see them doing is selling, like, I think they'll be free. The indexes will be like free PDFs, like, because they were for 40k. And 40k has always been the thing that you pay for, and AOS has always been the thing that you don't have to pay for, right? So then what I think they'll do is they'll sell the War Scroll cards, you know, with like the special rules. It'll just be kind of like on a separate card, like they did for 40k 10th edition. And, you know, I don't know that I'll buy all the armies, but I'll buy a couple of them. I don't know that I'll even buy Skaven, just because, like, if there's
They're probably going to get a book. So.
Well, they're probably going to get a book in a couple of months, and like, that's all I'm going to be thinking about until they get a new book. And so I'm going to be in that ass for the War Scrolls, man. I'm going to have that stuff memorized pretty good. But I can definitely see, like, we'll see. I will see how it goes. That's why I kind of was hoping for, like, big fatty books. That'd be just, then you can buy one book and you've got everything you need. They were soft cover for AOS 1 and 40k 8th, but 40k indexes are horrible because they were not digital only. Well, they were both, right? Oh wait, do you mean 8th edition? Because 8th edition was book only.
I
40K,
think it means
the current ones.
yeah.
Yeah, the current ones are both. So you get them for free digitally, and then or you can buy them. But then it comes with all the data sheets or whatever they're called. But yeah, I didn't buy it for Tyranids because it was the same thing. I was like, I know we're getting a book. I don't think I bought the book though. I can't remember now. Because I love Tyranids. They're definitely my favorite army in 40K, but yeah, I don't know. I thought they were going to get a little more creative with some of the monsters. Like I really like anyway, this is getting a little off topic again, but this is an AOS podcast, guys. Actually, okay.
Trying to keep it on topic here.
Yeah, yeah, we're known for
go
that.
off topic.
That's true. Yeah, stay in your lane. 40K new rules edition rules were bad for 4 months or more. That's true. I hope we don't have a similar thing where it's like, because a lot of, I mean, that was Eldar. Like Eldar was just kind of a problem, and they always are. Like if you've been around in 40K for any length of time, they love Eldar. They like elves in general, right? Whether they're space elves or old fantasy elves. But oh, Dale just saw your thing. Yeah, thanks again, Big Ron. It was very kind. But there was like the towering issue in 40K when 10th edition came out, and it was just like knights were just crazy. They were too good, you know, because of this one rule. And so then they kind of figured that out. But I hope there's nothing like that, because there's nothing like when a game comes out and you're just like, yeah, we made this rule and it just affects the rest of the game and they have to change it. It's like, really, guys, already? Like, I hope they figure that out, because it wasn't a great look. Yeah. Hadouken! Yep. I'll hit you guys with that. I haven't thrown poo in ages, by the way. Since graduation. Okay.
As is tradition in Canada.
As is tradition, yeah.
You throw poo with the picture of the Queen.
Yep. It's a great day for Canada, and therefore the rest of the world. Is that what it is?
Yep.
I can't remember. Excellent. Yeah, indexes for 40K are free, but go try and look at Tyranid data slates now without owning the book. Oh, is that what it is? I see. That's fair. I don't think they're going to do that, Maballs, because like literally in AOS 1, they were all free, and you used to be able to just go to the website and download them directly off there. They've gone away from that, but like, yeah. Wait, so can you not go to the app and look at I mean, 40K has always been like that, and AOS always hasn't. And I think that's a huge mistake in 40K, because like, how many times have you owned an army? Actually, this doesn't apply to Carson as much. Maybe it does. I'll keep going. So there's like a thing that definitely happens to a lot of us ADD type players or whatnot, where we'll be like, okay, I've got my Skaven army, right? Well, the only ally I can take is Nurgle. What if I put in this? I wonder, what this does. Oh, the Scrivener works in this way, and if I just add in that, and then all of a sudden you've got a Nurgle army. You know what I mean? And it just started with a couple of units because you were able to look up the war scrolls. I think that was like an amazing business decision that they made.
I also think that you shouldn't be paywalling someone from knowing their opponent's rules if they're playing them in a tournament.
Yeah.
Right?
But then
you should be able to... Go ahead, sorry.
Well, isn't that an excuse to not have the rule, like the army's rules be behind a paywall?
I actually think yes. Like, I don't think that... Like, personally, I don't think that any of it should be... I think that it should either be that it's all free, or that if you pay for access, you pay for access to everything. And I've always kind of thought that it would be much more palatable to pay like a monthly subscription or something like that, and then just have access to the rules, and then you could just have access to everyone.
Every rule, every army's rules.
And they'd probably make more money that way, because
you
pay for access to the rules, and let's say you're paying for 12 months or something like that, and it's like $5 a month, that's already more than a battle tome, or just as much,
Yeah.
right? And chances are someone's not going to be buying, like the average person, I would say, probably doesn't buy more than one battle tome a year. So it's
That'd be,
essentially the same thing. And they probably will still buy their actual battle tome for like their army that they love.
yeah, I would, you know, yeah. The only ones that I didn't buy were like when I knew that, you know, what I got into them when they were getting a new book, or not getting a new book, when I knew that it was sooner rather than later, you know. That's a great, I mean, I was playing devil's advocate in case it wasn't obvious, but you know, I think the best thing that they could do is do that, right? Because like you said, like for people like you, it means you're spending way more money to have access to everyone's rules, right? And then the other thing though too is that like what I don't think I think I know what GW is thinking, but what I don't think that they see is that like let's say I have that subscription, right? I could then go look up any army's rules, and that's like an advertisement. You know what I mean? Like I look up Sylvaneth, Strike and Fade. Whoa, that is such a cool allegiance ability. These models look pretty cool too. You know what I mean? And like maybe I'll peruse the lore a bit here. Like if that's in there too, you know, and it's got like what do you call it? Like table of contents style tabs and whatnot. It's easy to navigate, go back and forth between the lore. Like it's actually but I think what they're thinking is, well, if we sell the people models and then they buy enough models, like this is kind of what happened to them in I think in 8th edition or in fantasy. And then it's like, well, what do we sell them once they have all the models? You know, the answer is more models because we are all crack addicts. It's crazy and it's obvious. You know what I mean? But it's also like, we'll buy resculpts. Like, don't you get it? Like Seraphon just got like redos of most stuff and we're still just buying them out. Like it's one of the more popular armies, you know? And like they've proven that with Space Marines too. They were like, "Oh, what are we gonna do? We've made up all the crazy, you know, rules and new things we could possibly do." And then that's their solution was Primaris. And now they're realizing we don't need to do that. We can just make new sculpts and just give them slightly different weapons, or just remake stuff like Terminators, and people will buy the crap out of them. You know?
Yep. Don't need to expand horizontally sometimes. You just need to revise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh man. Once a 40k gets a codex after the initial launch, the rules get locked in the app until you put the code from your book. Oh, that's so lame and dumb. Ugh. I think it's short-sighted, but you know, this is GW. This is they're so awesome in some ways, and then in others it's really backward thinking, but I don't know. I mean, they're very successful. Maybe they know something we don't. Carson, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It seems like they haven't quite broken into. I could see the reason why, like if you're talking to like a GW executive or something like that, I could see the reason they would bring up being we don't have an established foothold in like e-commerce as much as we do in like physical sales of goods.
Right.
Because like they have these apps and stuff like that, but they're kind of notorious for either being like buggy, inaccurate, or
both,
you know, flops at the start as well. Like their new
Yep.
website was a huge flop.
Oh my
The
god.
community. So I could also see it being like, hey, we got this big subscription service where you have access to everyone's rules and yada yada yada, and it's just awful at first. I
Right.
could see that being the case because maybe they don't have access to good developers. Like they don't have that rapport built with any developers yet. But still, it's like GW is a massive company, right? Like you think that I don't know, I would be so interested to be a fly on the wall on meetings where they're deciding these things, just to see like what is the logic here, or if there is any kind of thing.
Right. I mean, it's all hearsay. Sorry, were you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Uh, I thought you had this face like, and to conclude my thought, I was just like, oh God. I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but I was told a story by someone who was like at one of those like fairly big meetings, and apparently throughout like 7th edition, I think it was 7th, and for a long time back in the day, they were like, wood elves, you need to make wood elves, right? And it got bad enough that like apparently a couple of the people that were like seriously guys, like, make wood elves, are you idiots? And then they were like, that person is like, doesn't get it, wood elves don't sell, you know? And so like people got fired and demoted and all sorts of crazy stuff happened. And you know, and it was kind of that self-fulfilling prophecy where wood elves are you know, they're not popular because they don't make new stuff for them, and then therefore they remain unpopular, kind of like, well, actually I won't go into that, but it's sort of been said before. So then so then wood elves got a book in 8th edition, and they got some new sculpts and everything, and then apparently the reaction to GW was like, who'd have thought wood elves were so popular? And all those people were like, we've been telling you. Sorry, I breathed in way too deep there. So that's kind of their, you know, mode of operation on a lot of things. It's yeah, tree men are awesome. Forget elves. Well, I mean, like, I do like wood elves a lot, but I also like tree men and Sylvaneth. Like, that was when I came back for Skaven. Yes, I know everyone's heard this before, but Sylvaneth were just coming out, I think. And I looked at that front cover and I was like, oh damn, you know, like these Skaven models, like this is what I'm here for, but these models are old and they're not, you know, they don't look as good as some of these brand new sculpts, which totally hold up for Sylvaneth, by the way. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I buy all Destruction and Stormcast codexes. Damn. Really? So you have giants. You have.
It's just 4, I thought, right?
Was 4 plus
giants, ogres, Boomspike Gits.
Yeah, and then Stormcast because.
And Stormcast, yeah.
Yeah, that's like, I like that though. That's a cool theme, you know. I like it. Like, yeah. There's people out there that are just like, I like death, you know. Here's my death.
Yep.
You know. I am Nagash in my own mind.
That makes sense. I kind of feel that way about Destruction, to be honest. Like,
Destruction is, yeah.
It's, I don't know, it's just fun. Like, it's fun for your army not to have like any crazy ulterior motives or something. Just like, yeah, we're just here to mess stuff up. Like, it's
yeah. We're here to F with you. Yeah. And like, they're different forms too, right? You know, like the Gits are very silly and like, you know, following the moon around and just kind of Looney Tunes, really. And orcs are all about crumping, you know, they're just soccer hooligans. And then I actually don't really know about giants. I don't really know what their deal is. I should look up like a 2+ tough video on giants or something. Just find out about their lore. And then ogres. Ogres are like, we're here to eat, you know.
Here to eat? Are you food?
Are you food?
I'm gonna eat you.
Exactly. They're all food, really.
Yeah. Yeah, everything to do with ogre society is just about eating. It's just, how do we pick our tyrants? Who eats the most food from the guy that brings stuff back to the camp? That guy's the tyrant. How do you cast magic? You eat special meat. How do you dispel magic? You eat the spell. How do you? Yeah, like, simple.
And what about because I know like the Everwinter, like there's a separate thing. I mean, they're still about eating, obviously. They're still eating because they're ogres, but they have like a storm that follows them wherever they go or something, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if the lore has changed, but I think what it was like one ogre tyrant maybe, or like a frost lord or something, was tricked into, or not tricked, but like told to go eat the heart of some like crazy winter beast,
Oh,
and then he did, and then ever since then, that's the curse of the Everwinter. Essentially, is that like the winter is following the heart of this like winter beast.
wow, that
Yeah,
is really actually rad. I didn't know that about the eating the heart thing. Huh.
yeah. And another thing is too is that, again, if the lore has not changed, if the Everwinter catches ogres, they don't necessarily die. They just kind of go into like hibernation.
Oh, cool.
So they just get like frozen for like 200 years, and then the storm finally passes, and then they thaw, and then they're just like, "Oh, that sucked," and then do they just try and find their next meal?
Or what if the guy who's caught on an edge of it? You know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
someone comes up and they're like, "Look at this troglodyte. He's been in here for like 1,000 years probably." And then he defrosts, and it's like a week. It's only been like a week, and it's just he's an ogre. You know, that's what we look like. You know. Oh man, destruction's awesome. Um, I feel like destruction. Yeah, they're like, like if you're picking a thing, they're like generally like the frat boys of you know, the Age of
yeah.
Sigmar universe.
I think I treat them as like the NPCs of the universe almost, where it's
Really?
just like they, and it's kind of funny thinking about them that way because like if you've ever played a game like World of Warcraft or something and you're just running along and then you like get in the aggro range of like a wolf or a cobalt or something like that, and it just goes man and swings at you and stuff like that's essentially what destruction is. It's like you just happen to be
In their
where
way.
they were, and they're just like,
Uh,
I'm gonna punch you in the face, and then you're just like, oh, and then you walk just outside of its aggro range, and it's just like, there's something better over there for me to do. See ya.
I like
And
that
that's
analogy. I've
destruction.
never heard that analogy before either. Oh man. Oh man. So then,
I
and
don't-
then what is chaos?
Chaos is definitely like chaos is it's pretty standard. Like if we're going with like the WoW analogy, like I would say chaos is kind of like the horde in a way.
Mm.
Maybe chaos and death, I guess, are both the horde, but
The horde
yeah,
is the
maybe
orcs
not.
though, right? In
Sorry.
the horde is the orcs in World of
Yeah,
Warcraft.
no, that's a bad analogy. I think chaos would probably be every single like raid boss in WoW that's just like I have these machinations to destroy the universe, and then they get foiled by the same group of 40 people every week.
Right.
Um, that's probably chaos.
They're like the mustache twirlers of the.
Yeah, exactly.
I see. Okay. You know what though? I kind of like how it's hard to like destruction. You have like a thing for them. Like you're like they're the NPCs and like you've got a thing for them. But it's kind of hard to pin down the rest of the universe. Really.
I honestly think GW understands what destruction is the best out of the four Grand Alliances.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
that's kind of what I've latched on to there because like with with order it's just like what even is that, like they don't even like each other,
So
and there's so many of
order,
them that yeah.
order from what I understand of order is they are not they're obviously not the good guys. There is it's I think they made Age of Sigmar a lot more interesting in that way. But order is basically, do you hate chaos? If you hate chaos, you're with us. Because like Daughters of Cain and to a certain extent Idneth, even though I think a lot of people misunderstand the Idneth backstory and whatnot, they hate Slanesh, right? And so you're with us. Like I think that's it.
Would death not also hate chaos though?
Death doesn't like chaos, but um, Death is
I feel like
basically
everyone hates
Nagash.
chaos, right? Or I guess no, destruction doesn't care, but
Destruction doesn't have like any particular bone, but Death also. I mean, they don't like. I think he doesn't like Sigmar and kind of order in a lot of ways. I mean, Nagash is kind of doing his own thing. I do wish that they would expand Death so that there was a non-Nagash faction. You know, I find
yeah.
that like I think Death is like if you're gonna pick a faction, chaos, I find less interesting. I think destruction is the most interesting right now. I think the second most interesting as a faction is death. Just like it's because it's just inherently an interesting idea, behind it. But them all being under the Nagash umbrella, I don't know. I've been saying this since the beginning, but I just find it boring. Also, I just don't think Nagash is that compelling in his current iteration.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I could see that. It'd be nice to see some other force of death popping up in some way.
Like because you had Cetra as the sort of foil to Nagash, or you could even call Nagash the foil to Cetra, but I think most people would call Cetra the foil. But like you had that opposing force within the faction, and that is inherently interesting. Order is everyone who didn't fit anywhere else. Cleaner. Order is city builders. Yeah, there is that. You could say that too. They are the ordered one. But I mean, like, there's nomadic sort of peoples within order, I think. It also has the most amount of armies by a good amount now.
Something crazy, actually, too. Speaking of order, there are no more resin kits in order at all.
Are you sure about... I think you're right, but the old Drycha kit, what's her name? I forget what they call her now. Is she gone?
I think so.
Wow.
Let's check.
Oh no, wait. Yeah. That's true. One second. Let me think. Obviously, Stormcast wouldn't have any. Are you on the terrible website right now?
I am.
Yeah. Okay. Here. While you're looking into that, I haven't looked at the comments. Okay. Sorry.
Real quick, we can rule out some factions, right? Like we can rule out Stormcast. We can rule out Lumineth. We can rule out Caradron.
Yeah.
We can rule out Ideneth.
Yep.
We can rule out... I think that's it for order.
Right.
Because none of those factions have any like previous editions or Warhammer Fantasy Battles models in them.
Yep.
So that leaves Daughters of Cain, Fire Slayers, Seraphon, and Sylvaneth, and cities. So those 5 armies are the only ones that could have resin models in them, I think.
Yep.
So I'm going to check those.
Seraphon got rid of everything in the latest resculpt, including some stuff that was like you could kind of use in plastic. So they really simplified things down, though. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go to the comments. Carson is on the trail. If they locked 40k data slates, sorry, I am going back a bit here, but we were distracting each other. If they locked 40k data slates behind a paywall, why wouldn't they do it the same for AOS 4? They downgraded the current AOS app from the second one. So, because the 40k data, or not the data slates, you mean the data sheets. The data slates is like that big free update that they do. The data sheets have always been behind a paywall. I mean, that's possible, Maballs, but like AOS ones have always been free. And the app is actually free as well. Like you can use the army builder on the app still to this day for free. So it's possible that they'll change it, especially if they saw some kind of huge, upturn for their, how many people are buying it in 40k. But I don't think that they'll change it for AOS because it's almost like synonymous with the game at this point. Like the double turn is free War Scrolls. Digital books gone, my battle gone, buying rules and app gone. Well, and also, by the way, so the current app I wouldn't say it's worse, like than the previous app. It's obviously it's a matter of opinion, but I was there from day one. Like when I remember paying $1.79 for the AOS 2 app to get the builder, and I think I prefer the current one. Although you could buy the whole books in the AOS 2 app, which was kind of cool because you got all the lore and everything. So that I think they're going to keep, like the current system. But yeah, I hope they don't start charging for them. But I don't think that they will. But we'll see. You buy. All right, I did see that. So them downgrading our way of getting rules in 4th is expected. Hell, in 40k isn't the army build limited behind also having Warhammer Plus? I think in 40k it always was. I think it was in 9th edition and it is in 10th edition. Whereas AOS 3, they just kind of said like they just never did that. So it still isn't. And I know it still isn't because I don't have Warhammer Plus anymore. Have you used the website? Unfortunately, Matthew, I have. It's not the best. But maybe they'll make it better. Treemen are awesome. Forget elves. This is a true statement. I like this on the whole. I do like my fish elves. I can't help it. But and I like wood elves too, to be honest. But I like the elves because like I can't picture myself as a living tree. You know what I mean? Like, and obviously I can't really picture myself as a ratman either, although I do frequently, right? But like, you know, like as a rat man, I can kind of, I don't know, there's more to acquaint with, right? So I can picture myself as like some kind of savage wood elf running through the trees with a bow, you know, riding on trees, that kind of thing, right? I live, you know, I'm from Vancouver, so I'm basically a wood elf right now. But, you know, I can't help it. I like wood elves too, if I'm being honest. Did you do your research?
I've done my research. The results are in.
Okay.
For the faction of order, or for the Grand Alliance order, I obviously couldn't do the entire range.
Okay.
I was wrong.
Okay.
There is one single resin model left in the entire Grand Alliance order.
Before you reveal, was I right that it's not her, right?
Who?
It's not, is it the tree witch or branch witch or what is she called?
It is.
It is. They kept her. Yeah. Okay.
Yep, branch wraith. Yep.
Okay, cool. That's an interesting choice because she's just so...
Doesn't look good.
No, she doesn't.
Doesn't look great.
That's the old Drycha model from Fantasy Battles.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know why they kept her. Like, there is so much better... Like, they didn't keep the skinks, and the skinks looked better than she does. But... yeah.
Well, what's odd is that I think there is a plastic branch witch out there.
There's a plastic...
But it was in the start collecting, right? And that's not available to buy separately.
No, I know. Yeah. Oh, did they amalgamate the two?
I don't think so, because that one was plastic. This one is fine cast.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, is there only one War Scroll now? They used to have two different names. They used to be two different War Scrolls. Yeah, because there's the plastic one that's freaking awesome with the scythe and like the weird worm creature coming off of her. She is one of the coolest, you know, models. Why do they...
Yeah, Branch Witch is in the book. But
okay.
But it's not available to purchase separately? That's kind of weird.
Yeah, well, they did that with the White King on Ethereal Steed for Soulblight Gravelords, and now you can just buy him on his own. Like, there was never a reason to do that. And the weird thing, too, is that, like, everyone has the Branch Witch because it came in the start collecting. Not the Vanguard set. Although I think it comes in there, too. But she came in the start collecting. So most people have, like, 50 million of them because those things were awesome. You got a Tree Lord. You got Dryads, which you kind of needed back in the day. And you got a Branch Witch. Wait, so it is one War Scroll now, though, right? Okay. Yeah, see? Before it was two different War Scrolls. So at least it made sense. Ugh. That's so dumb. Buy our old resin garbage or buy a Vanguard. You suckers. That's what it seems like. Not cool. It was before, Will, but now it's not. Will was saying it's was in a clam pack. Yeah, you could buy it before, but you could also buy it in the start collecting set before, but now you can't. You can only buy the old ugly one, which was fine for the day, but
It's so odd because it doesn't even say on the Warhammer website that you can use the branch wraith as a branch witch, which is like clearly what they intend.
right.
It just says it's a branch wraith, and then when you look at the Sylvaneth, I'm looking on Wahapedia, like there's nothing that's just called a branch wraith. There's only a branch witch.
Right. I don't know.
It's odd.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Not the best choice. Maybe we'll get something in Dawnbringers? He said with
Maybe
like five question marks.
I could see 4 being the edition where like metal and resin is abolished from most armies.
Yeah. I mean,
because they only have that one for the entirety of Order, and then I think for Destruction it's like Gits and Ogres have resin and metal still, but
Gits definitely do. Obviously, Ogres do.
but like it's not the Behemoth definitely don't.
They don't.
And then I don't think Orc War Clans has the Wargog Prophet. I think is resin.
Yep.
And then
I think it's got a couple of Bone Splitter things. Like I think anything that's a Bone Splitter hero, probably. Chris says the pirate one was your favorite. Yeah. Oh man, the pirate one's awesome. I like the ninja guy, and I like the one with the rolling pin.
Man-eaters, yeah.
Yeah, man-eaters. Man-eater. Okay. Okay, now going back. Ludivicus said ages ago, sorry, thank you for your patience. We have enough elf adjacent in AOS now. Anyways, if you're going to give us something new, give us something new. I agree. I like that a lot. That's why I like Idness so much. Obviously I love the ocean, that kind of thing, but like they were so much more creative. Like Daughters of Cain were a little creative, but they're, taking a lot from the old world, and a lot of it just was the old world stuff. But yeah, if you're going to bring something into AOS, absolutely. I like wood elves in fantasy. I'm not saying bring them in, although I would, I would poop myself if they brought Karnathi in. I can't lie. But I agree with the statement for sure, and the sentiment in general. Big Ron says, I own 3 armies, have 6 codexes. Are you talking about 40k? I think you're probably talking about AOS. How can you have 3 armies and 6 army books?
He just has the army books, but not the armies themselves.
Oh, right. That's a good point. There's a lot of people out there that collect the books for lore and all sorts of reasons. So yeah, that's a good point. I own all the battle tomes aside from 2nd edition Soulblight Gravelords in the AOS app. Really? And I think you mean in the old AOS app, right, Maballs? Yeah, you can still look at them too, which is really cool. And they were a lot cheaper. They were like half the price, I think. I'd like to be able to rules check, learn other people's armies without plunking $50, $70 bucks down. I pay $10 a month for Warhammer Plus. Let me see the rules. We couldn't agree more. And what's crazy too, Matthew, is like, I think, can you still get Warhammer Plus in Canada, Carson?
I'm not sure. Yeah, for a while it was not allowed because it didn't have like a French translation or something.
It didn't have French original content.
Right.
They've got like 4 shows and you want one of them to be French? Like, are you out of your mind? I don't know if that's still a thing or not. Mine, renewed. Like I don't, it's not integrated with the app because you don't need it to be, but yeah. That was something really
Also,
annoying. Yeah.
I just checked. Orc War Clans has 4 resin kits, which is the Maniac, Weird Knob, the Wargog Prophet, Wardock, and a Savage Big Butt. So everything, all of the Iron Jaws. Bone Splitters, like heroes.
Right. That makes sense.
Yep. If the rumors are true, we shan't be seeing them anymore. I personally think that we're going to have some sort of Bone Splitters equivalent still, but I wouldn't be surprised if they get rid of those models in AOS.
It would kind of make sense in terms of like how they're integrating it into fantasy as well. But I don't know. I think they're still gun shy, because of what happened with Tomb Kings and Bretonnia in fantasy. People got pretty upset. I kind of wish they would just like it kind of goes back to what Ludivicus was saying earlier, where it's like, if you're going to have something in AOS, make it interesting, make it weird and different, and Bone Splitters are, they are from fantasy. But I know it would make some people really sad. So, my ball says Bone Splitters Big Boss is plastic. So maybe 3 things. Yeah. It's just an old model. It looks like it's resin, right?
The problem is it doesn't actually say online.
Right.
So like some of them will say this multi-part plastic kit or this Citadel fine cast, blah, 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 blah. That one just says this kit contains blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So I was looking at Google image search of the sprues and I mistook it for resin.
I can see that.
For some reason.
Yeah. I don't even remember what it looks like, but what was I going to say? Right. Destruction like dogs chasing cars. That's another great analogy I hadn't heard before. Twilight's hammer. I'm not sure what that is. Battered bison will rock. Yes, it will, Jason. Yes, it will. And if you're going to be there, Carson's going to be there, and so is Kenrick.
But don't make eye contact with me. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm not going to say what's going to happen, but don't do it.
He'll make it uncomfortable. He'll figure out a way. Unless he's in between matches. And then you might even be pleasant.
Maybe.
It's possible.
Probably not.
Probably not.
No.
The only thing that's
like the most insufferable turd you've ever met in your whole life.
That is why you're on this show.
Yep.
Yep.
That's right.
You must be this turdy to be on the show.
Turdy tree.
We're just so damn classy. Death is the scourge. Yeah, I think that seems right. I know this is going way back. Orders everyone who didn't fit anywhere else. Cleaner. All right, yeah, we did see that. City builders. Order is city builders. Interesting. I don't remember that, but there's been so much stuff over the years. I really want, if anyone can find, there's like a pronunciation guide for Age of Sigmar, and I wish I'd bought that white dwarf. If anyone has it, if you could send me, like, just take a picture of it or whatever and send it to me, I would love that. I really regret not getting that. 2 factions in the game have medals, Skaven and Gitz. Just the Madcap. Can't speak to all the resin, though. Yeah. Is the Madcap metal? I didn't even know that. Skaven has a ton of metal. It is the most metal faction in the game. Heavy stuff. You can use the army builder, but not see the rules for relics. Yes, for the current the current Age of Sigmar army builder. Yeah, you can't see any of the special rules, allegiance abilities, battle tactics, or any of that jazz unless you buy the book and use the code. And then, but the nice thing is that you can even use the. By the way, welcome Bahamut. You can use the builder because in 40K you don't even get that. And you didn't in 9th edition either, by the way. So, Branch Witch was. Oh, yeah, right. Sorry, we got that, but they won't get the cool old resin models like the ogre characters. That that Ninja Ogre was rad. I couldn't agree more, Matthew. I don't, if they do, like, how would they even do that? If they make new man-eaters, they just can't, like, they can't just make like that many sculpts. You know what I mean? I guess they could just pick some of the best ones and then have them be like dual build. You know? I don't think they're going to do it though. I think man-eaters are going to have, they'll be like ogres, but a little bit bigger probably if they redo them, and just give them a little bit more character in general, but nothing quite so wild and crazy. Like, isn't one of them like an executioner and one of them's like like it's wild.
I think there were actually different things in like when Ogre Kingdoms and Fantasy was a thing.
Probably, right?
And I'm not sure what they were, but like they're probably just like, let's just take all these things and make this man-eater lore around them. And yeah, I'd imagine that it's going to be more streamlined if and when they actually turn them into a plastic kit. My hope is that for 4th edition, ogres get like a good amount of love and their resin kits are like completely swapped out, because we've still got, it's not even just heroes that are resin.
Oh yeah. Yeti.
It's like, yeah, Yetis, Frost Sabers, man-eaters.
Noblars
they're plastic.
Yeah, but like they need one so bad. They need yeah.
And then for heroes, it's like you have an Icebrow Hunter, you've got the Butcher, the Slaughtermaster,
all the man-eaters.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Like there's only been in AOS, we've gotten Tyrants, like the Ogre Tyrant. That's a plastic kit that's new.
Yep.
And then we got Gorgers, and that's it for all of AOS.
Yeah, not including the terrain pieces.
Sure, yeah.
Oh no, and we got the new Hunter guy.
Oh, Bloodpelt Hunter. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay, Tyrant, Bloodpelt Hunter, and Gorgers. Those are the 3 things.
And we're not including, even though you're the only faction that got 2 terrain pieces.
That's true. We do have 2 terrain pieces that are both kind of bad.
Yeah. I mean, Skaven are in the same boat, and like it's crazy how little love they've gotten, considering they're one of the more popular and original things they've ever made. But yeah, we got the Bombardier, the spells, the terrain when we got the AOS 2 release. And then we got the Assassin. And I know we got, and then we got a couple of Underworlds. Oh yeah, I guess you got Underworlds for ogres as well, if we're counting that. But I don't think either faction got a Warcry release.
Well, Gorgers was Warcry.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Well, you got that over Skaven then.
That's true. That's true. But we know yours is coming. We know that.
Yeah.
This channel is just Skaven and Ogres, by the way. If you came for anything else, then...
Look at the backgrounds. If you didn't know that when you showed up, well, then what the hell, man? I mean, I do have crippling hobby ADD, but...
Will says if 4th is an index edition, the poor FEC players will just be broken people waiting 3 more years. Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny, though, is we said the same thing, Will, when Soulblight got their book right before AOS 3. Like, it used AOS 3 rules. And it wasn't that long. We got one... They got one before Khorne and Slaanesh.
That was still just last year, though.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was.
Was it really?
Yep.
Well, I mean, there's only 3 years, though.
I know, but end of the edition, and
okay,
the last year of the edition.
Well, it's not.
Well, I guess the last.
It was early in the year. I think it was around now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So like,
the Soulblight and OBR released at the same time.
So that's like it's almost, well, I guess not really. It's like a year and 3 months, maybe. I mean, that's almost half the edition, though.
Yeah, I mean, someone's got it. It's got to happen to someone.
It's true. Yeah, FEC came out mid-edition in the previous one. Early, they came out with Skaven in 2019. So they'll definitely mess with it, but Yeah, like Necrons got their codex and they were a release thing in the previous one. I kind of feel like Auric War Clans, although like FEC weren't the main problem with FEC wasn't that they didn't get a book, because their book functioned really well in AOS, especially after the update from White Dwarf, and they were doing really well, and their numbers have gone down since they got a book, right? The main problem with FEC, I feel like, was they didn't have any sculpts, and they kind of fixed that. So, although, I mean, you're not wrong. I think a lot of people get upset about it. I knew it was coming, so. And actually another thing too about the FEC, by the way, is you got a free book when you bought the box, right? So it's kind of like the best possible scenario, almost. Like Soulblight, you didn't get that.
Not free. It was built into the cost of the box, I'm sure.
But but if you wanted, like, if it was cheaper to buy that box by far,
yeah,
than to just buy those models, right? So.
Yeah, I was lucky that happened for Slaves to Darkness as well.
Yep.
It seems like they're gonna. I like the pattern of the army box coming out at the start of the book, but I dislike the pattern of it, like there being like 3 months between when that army box comes out and when the army releases. I wish they would just do it on release of the army.
Yes. Yeah, I think their thinking is that people prepare their wallets, and I actually don't think they're entirely wrong about that. You know what I mean? They show the models that are coming up. You get that, you get hype, you read the lore and whatnot, and then when it comes out, you're just like, give it to me, But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Spells
sure is awkward for tournaments, though.
It sure is. It's really bad for tournaments. And speaking of bad for tournaments, man, Dawnbringers, huh? So
what do you mean?
Yeah, well. When's it releasing again? Is it releasing
the day after Wet Coast list submissions are due?
Right on.
Just to mess with Dale.
Just to mess with Dale. Yeah, we actually got a missive from GW Central, and they put that's all they put was just to mess with Dale. And at first I was like, do they mean my other friend, Dale? And then I was like, oh, that's right, because daughters and Dale, right? Yeah. It makes sense.
Dales of Cain.
Dales of Cain. Daughters of Dale. Dodd. Instead of Doc.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, God.
This is a great show.
This is a great show.
Yeah.
That old Ninja Ogre was red. Yeah.
You read that
I know. That. I'm just trying to go through it, and I don't like dead air, Carson.
That's fair.
Mr.
Do you want to
Push
talk about
talk?
What we've been working on?
I do. I took some more pictures.
Okay.
But
do you want to show them?
You took better pictures.
Did I?
Yeah. I actually didn't take many pictures. Can you send me your pictures? That was something I meant to do. I also wasn't sure if we wanted to. We didn't get a chance to talk about it, but I like it too. So, and I was presumptuous enough to put that in the title of the show. While you're doing that, okay. Sigmar lied. It's Bone Splitters versus Skaven. Oh man, anything like that would be awesome. As one of the few Bone Splitters players, they are near and dear to your heart. And I get that, and like, that's what I was kind of talking about. They're like, I really like Iron Jaws and Cruel Boys specifically, but like Bone Splitters are a lot like Spider Fang, which are near and dear to my heart. And so like if Bone Splitters go, then Spider Fang might be next, and that would suck. Like, that would suck shapoopy. Take that to the bank. Did you send me pictures?
I did.
Okay.
I sent you 7 pictures.
7 pictures, you say?
They all kind of look the same.
Okay. But you took before pictures as well. Here, why don't you set it up while I get things ready?
What?
Well, you're like,
Oh, set up. Oh, verbally.
yeah.
I was just like, I'm not on your computer, Bob. What do you mean? Um, yeah. So we have some exciting news. There's going to be more of this like shown in the future, and like the result of it is going to be shown for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Kenrick, who has been on the channel a couple times, has decided to like become a part of Saga Updice, essentially. Kenrick in real life is actually a cinematographer. He's very familiar with cameras and lighting and making things look nice and fancy. So he really wanted to kind of like invest in the show with like some nice cameras, like a proper studio setup, and just making things look and sound a little bit better for the battle reports. So this past weekend we spent Saturday and Sunday just like reshuffling the studio and like resetting things up to kind of accommodate that. So like we've been doing some like ceiling mounted LEDs and cameras and stuff like that. We've been doing like a new producer setup. We've been doing like we basically like 90-degree shifted the entire room so that it's a little bit more like it looks a lot better in my opinion, for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think, and I don't think everyone's gonna notice, like, the main. I didn't. One of the pictures just came out of nowhere, surprised me. So, at first, I think the main. So when I originally got the device for doing overhead and multiple camera angles and doing hard cams, you know, I had a few different people say, you need to get the table and the people, right? And I said, I can't. Like, I put the camera up in the corner of the room and I wasn't even close. So I was like, we'd have to shift the entire room and make it different. And so then that's what we ended up doing. Sorry, I was fiddling around over here, so I didn't necessarily, I hope I'm not reiterating things, but yeah, so like there's going to be a shift in the way we the camera angles that we, you know, and that's what the renovation is largely about, but also adding more quality and different lighting systems and different things like that. But man, like we looked through, but we've got new camera and new audio equipment, and it doesn't look like that's where the real difference is, right? Like that's where things are going to get really crazy. Okay, so I'm going to put this. Oh, no, didn't want to go. There we go. So that we got our main man, Kenrick, looking very manly with his
holding a drill that I don't think he used once the entire weekend.
yeah. But I mean, if you see a drill, you pick it up.
You know, pretend it's a gun, wink at the camera.
Yeah.
No one's the wiser.
Exactly. I mean, he fooled me. You know, and I was there the entire time. So this is like right before we shifted everything over. Or actually right after we'd shifted over the green wall, right?
Yeah.
And then this is a shot further back after we gotten the LED light panels up, and then
I'm a little behind, so I haven't. Okay, I see.
Yeah, and then and the funny thing is too is I sent Matthias a couple of these pictures, and he's like that was pretty brave of you to leave models on the table the whole time. I was like, it was so stupid. like some of them you can't even buy either. like what was I thinking? But yeah, you know. And then this is me starting to hang up some foam, which I ended up completing yesterday. My kid was kind enough to help me, and and this is after we put up some other curtains and stuff, like you can see. And then this is the overhead cam. As you can see, like before, for the overhead cam, we weren't even using, I was using a knockoff GoPro. It wasn't even a real GoPro. And so this is going to be like a completely different level. Yeah. And then we've got, this is after the curtains have been put up. You can see more of the foam is down. Yeah. And I think, I can't remember. 1 second. I don't remember.
But yeah, basically there's going to be like a ton of, so we're planning on kind of finishing this all this weekend.
Oh, that's nice.
Recording a battle report not too soon. I mean, I guess we might be able to squeak one in. Like, well, I guess I'm going to be pretty busy with Wet Coast, and then I think the week after Wet Coast, we're planning to do like the first battle report with all of the new equipment.
Yep.
So hopefully it's going to be looking quite a bit nicer. I think the biggest thing is going to be the top-down cam. Like you said, it was like a knockoff GoPro, but now it's like actually like you can read like dice pips in the center of the table and stuff like that. Like it's quite clear, quite nice.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be good.
And the main camera too. Now that we've moved where everything goes. Oh, and there is more pictures. I wanted to make sure. This is Kenrick in there. I think he was adjusting the overhead. But also the main camera too. It's before it was just on us because that was all we could do. And now you're going to be able to see the table and us, and it's going to be an extremely nice camera as well, where you're going to be able to really see the detail. And we've upped the quality of the mics too. But then this is actually the same as before. This is the screen where the ATEM hooks up to, and that's what you see when you're controlling it behind the scenes. But yeah, and then I think there's one. Oh no, I guess that's the last one.
I only sent you 7. Yeah, that's the last one. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
yeah.
I know you took some that were like a little bit more complete.
Yes. Yeah,
then,
I took a couple yesterday after the kiddo helped me.
Do you want to kind of talk about like our little roadmap that we had planned, or do you want to?
Sure, that's great.
Yeah.
Here.
So like a big part of this is Kenrick has brought some like really good ideas to the channel, and like you know he's a pretty avid consumer of battle reports. Like he's very familiar with a lot of the different like really popular channels out there.
Sorry, I was laughing because Ladivika said giving us a gun show because I couldn't see the comments when I had everything else up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are kind of like we're getting a little bit more quality in here. We're planning on kind of doing like
a little more quality.
Yeah, a lot more quality. Sorry.
I was using a Sony Handycam for the first 3 years of this channel until it broke, and then we got a temporary one, which didn't shoot in 4K as a temporary measure. So yeah, that's a huge understatement. We're going to have professional quality camera equipment and sound equipment.
Yeah, exactly. And then on top of that, we're planning on kind of like just running it the same style of battle report that we've been doing for the next month or so. We're kind of aiming for like 3 battle reports in April, recorded with all of this new setup. And then in May, we're actually going to be kicking off with our first live battle reports. Where basically what we're going to do is we're going to set everything up. We're going to deploy everything. And using this equipment, we're going to have like a live show where the producer is going to be like maintaining the chat and stuff like that. And as we're making our moves and like playing on this table, people can chat with us and we'll be answering questions and yeah, showing all the nitty gritty, just to kind of like lean into the more like long form content, I think, for sure.
And live.
And live as well. So
that is, and we're, I'm still advocating, like, I don't want to lose anyone. So, if you're someone who likes specifically the edited videos, feel free to let us know. If you're excited for the live stuff, like, let us know what you kind of want, and then we can make that content. The plan, we're definitely going to do live content. That is like 100%. But we can adjust the content to see, what people want. Like when people ask for certain armies, even for an example, I don't take it personally. Like to me, it's all love. Like I actually really like it when people are like, give me Skaven, you know, I'm like, okay, it's a deal. Like, I mean, obviously that one's pretty easy sell for me, but like all that stuff, you know, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, 100%. And we're glad to hear you're excited about it, Leviticus. We really want to kick off AOS 4 as well with like, I made a joke about it earlier, but this channel really like, we do focus a lot on like Skaven and Ogres and stuff. And Rob and I were thinking it would be awesome to kick off AOS 4 with like a game between the two of us live, like almost as soon as the rules are public. I think would be awesome to do that.
Right.
Because then we can kind of like explore the new AOS 4 rules together. Like people can be asking in the chat, like, does this actually work this way? And we can kind of talk it out a little bit more. And it's a little better than if we do a battle report and realize like we've done like half of the things in the new edition completely wrong. We can kind of figure it out together as a channel. So
yeah, exactly. Both. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm super excited for the live battle reports, but I also think that you know, like, but I tend to consume the ones that are not live, you know. Yeah.
The nice thing about a live battle report too is that it can be edited down into like a more concise.
That's a good point too. And I actually mentioned that when we were all in the studio here and working on stuff. So yeah, but like that, I really think that what you said, Carson, is important though, is that like at the start, because it's just so easy to make mistakes. Like there's only so much time. Like when new rules come out, whether it's for an army but even more so when like a whole new edition comes out, we're consuming them. And then in these filmed battle reports, you know, they come out like a week later, sometimes more. And then you're like everyone's already kind of moved on and figured a lot of stuff out. And it's like, you're not seeing us as we are right now. You're seeing us as we were like a week or two ago. And so, you know, a lot of the time we figure stuff out afterward. But yeah, you want to hear Rob say not nice things to Carson live and in 4K? Yeah. In real crisp and clear audio. Yep. I mean, Carson deserves all the nasty things I say.
Every single one.
Every single one. And it powers him up. So
makes me stronger.
Exactly.
So anytime I've beaten you at a tournament, it's because of Rob insulting me, and
this is the Skaven way.
He calls me before every round and just goes like, just so you know, like no one in the club actually likes you. Yeah. You realize that? And I just go, thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
And then I absolutely roll like 5 boxcar charges in a row. And it's just the cycle of the universe.
Yep. You're welcome, everyone.
Yeah.
It's what the Skaven do. They mess with other people's stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And if you expect nice things out of the mouth of a Skaven, you're a fool. You're a fool.
That's true.
Yep. Oh, man. What happens when you look Carson in the eyes during a live show? I don't know. I've never done it. We'll find out.
Yeah, in general, people just don't make eye contact with me. They kind of know not to.
Yeah. I think it's because you usually start taking your clothes off. But oh dear. Editing takes more time than filming. Yeah. Usually, like, it depends on it depends on the kind of thing, you know, and obviously Kenrick knows more about it, but like I have a cousin who does like editing for, you know, they have like a service that they provide, and they edit videos for these different companies in the States. And I think my cousin was saying like for every 1 minute of stuff they show, it's usually 20 minutes of editing. But it's not like that for a battle report. Or at least it's not for me. But it takes way more time, generally speaking, especially in the earlier stages. And it depends on how crazy you're getting with things, obviously. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You can definitely do things to make things easier for the editor, but
yeah,
in general, I'd imagine like the editor at least has to watch the battle report to to edit it. So it takes like at least just as much time. So
yeah, yeah. There's no one who's that fast at doing transitions and stuff that it doesn't take.
just live editing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of what we're going to be doing. Like, that's what we've sort of been doing with the switcher already.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Which is kind of like the downside is when if I'm not quick enough clicking on the dice box or whatever, then sometimes you miss it or, but it is a lot faster to edit for sure. Second for Skaven versus Ogres. The judge is going nowhere. Nice. Judge Big Ron presiding. Yeah, I'm really excited where it's going to go from here. That's the plan right now for sure, which is kind of why there hasn't been Skaven on the channel, in a little bit. Like, I actually did have someone asking for Skaven. Like, they posted in like 3 or 4 different videos, like Skaven, like bring Skaven. They weren't even Skaven videos. Like, they were just like random other videos. Just if I keep saying it, like there was like 4 or so comments within like the span of a couple minutes. Yeah. So, but I hear you. That's the plan. I'm also working on like FEC and a few different things. There's a lot of background stuff too that we're working on for the channel. It's not just renovating and doing all that stuff, but yeah.
There's also our plan for world domination. That's always been on the back burner.
Right.
Yeah, like henchmen are expensive these days.
That's true.
It's
That's
a lot.
True. Yeah. So is like the giant lasers on the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every day I phone Carson and I'm like, "What are we going to be doing tonight, Carson?" Narf.
Trying to take over the world. Yeah. And I can't believe how hard it is to rig an election these days. Like how much money it costs. It's crazy.
Yep.
Crazy. Try to start one mustache worshipping cult in Central Africa and you're bankrupt.
I know.
Wow.
What's the deal? Things have really fallen off.
It's not like the good old days.
Yeah. Yeah, like inflation doesn't just apply to Warhammer miniatures. Like, it also is in henchmen and all that jazz. Yeah. Laser beams.
Giant submarine bases.
That's true. But that's a tax write-off too, so it's not.
That's fair.
Yeah. But those henchmen. Just remember, I still expect an April Fool's Day Terabad list versus Terabad. Right. Oh, man. That's going to be interesting. Okay. Ooh. Is that the first? Maybe. That's going to be. Because don't forget, he's hosting he's running Wet Coast. That's an interesting idea, though.
Yeah, next week's AOS All Stars it's not going to be that. I'm not going to say it's going to be that, but it's going to be John Anderson that's going to be coming on the channel, who's number 1 order of 2023 for ITC, and he's known for Lumineth. But both of us have agreed to do something weird. And then it's not necessarily going to be bad. It's just going to be weird. So there's that.
He hasn't told me either, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm building it up way too much. Yeah. I'm like, I'm using a butcher instead of a slaughtermaster in my list.
That's what I was going to say. Oh, man. Yeah.
April Fool's Day comes in a month late yet.
Yeah. I'm switching to a 3-drop with Acolytes Battalion instead of a 1-drop. God dang it. That would be a pretty decent April Fool's Day. Like, we're doing something crazy. Yeah, I just switched the battalion. Sorry, guys. Oh man. There's that as well, Leviticus. I mean, I do like. I can't remember. I didn't remember that we had planned that for April Fools, but the idea of you make my list and I make your list, and or something like that. I think that's the idea you were talking about, Leviticus. But I don't remember that was an April Fool's Day thing that we had planned, but it's a great idea. I think it was Carson's idea, right? Maybe not.
I thought it was Leviticus.
Oh, maybe it was Leviticus. God dang, sorry, Leviticus. Under the bus you go, Leviticus. Sorry. It is the Skaven way. Yeah, that would be really fun, though. How many of the Base Claw Rider guys? I never remember their name.
Mornfang?
Yeah, Mornfang. How many Mornfang do you have painted?
I have 4 painted.
4 models painted.
Yeah.
Okay.
4 models painted. I think I have 12 of them total. I have 4 painted, 4 built, and then 4 on sprue.
You're waiting for that day of Mornfang.
I'm waiting.
World dominance.
I think they were the first models I painted, maybe.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think I painted a Mornfang. That was the very first ogre model I ever painted. Was like a Mornfang with a Gargan hacker.
They're cool.
They're awesome. Yeah. They're because I kind of got into AOS. I was like, I want like a big like cavalry heavy army that just like slams into someone. And then I saw the and I picked up the Beast Claw Raiders box, which was just like 4 Mornfang and a Stonehorn. I'm like, perfect. I only have to paint 4 models, and I painted 5 models. I only painted those 5 models, and I think that was like the first time I ever had like a fully painted. Like I painted all the Warhammer models I had for an army, and I was like, I've done it. My God.
Mission complete. Oh man.
I have most of my ogres painted. I might be able to get all of them painted for 4th edition. But...
I mean, surely they'll be better than they were in.
Maybe they're honestly not bad now. I've been trying them out in some like practice games.
Okay.
And they're not terrible. It's just I've always felt that they just weren't quite there. But I mean, they're interesting. They receive buffs really well, or the ogre buffs really well. Like when you put Blood Feast on Mornfang, it's like they have 2 profiles that it applies to, which is really nice. Because they've got like their mounts with their tusks, and then they've got like whatever weapon they're actually using.
Yep.
So they're getting like +2 attacks each, essentially. And then Hoarfrost is really good on them too.
What I'm hearing is don't make your army out of Mornfang.
Why?
I'm just kidding. You're making them sound better than I was like, your Achilles heel, Mornfang. But yeah, get on the painting, Carson. Same with Slaves to Darkness. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, I probably will paint some more Mornfang next. I think get 8 Mornfang painted. That'll be pretty nice.
They come in 2s, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So that would get you like
technically 4 units, but like
yeah,
I think running them in 4s makes sense.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. And you could even run them in 6s, and they'd be fine for coherency, assuming they're battle line.
Their bases are just huge though, so it's hard to get all of them in.
Yeah,
when you do that.
They're real big. They're the same as the sharks, I think, right?
I think so.
Yeah, they're beefy.
6 sharks in 1 unit.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't fly.
Right. It would look cool though, and like imagine buffing that whole unit, and then they just all charge and get in there.
That's the dream.
That is the dream. But yeah, a couple units of 4, that does seem to make more sense. Yeah.
Can you fit 1,000 Noblars on the table? Okay. Let's do a little math exercise here. They're on 25 mil bases, which is effectively 1 inch by 1 inch.
Right.
So what is 1,000 square inches? What are the dimensions of it? Or I guess it'd be 100. 100 by 100. Right? Oh, no, sorry, 100 by 10.
Yeah. 100. Oh, 100 by 10. Yeah. So then.
What's like a realistic? Let's see. I mean, a 60 by 44 table is 2,640 square inches. So yeah, you could fit. You could fit 1,000 nobblers on the table.
On the table, I don't know if you'll get them deployed, but actually, you definitely won't.
If you had a deployment that was 9 inches back.
Yeah.
That leaves you 13 inches up. If you have no terrain whatsoever on your side of the table, because that's way too much.
Actually, the terrain could help you if as long as you can go on top of it.
Maybe, yeah. But that's 13 inches by 44 inches. No, you wouldn't be able to fit.
Because you have to be back a certain distance.
But if you're playing ice fields, maybe?
Yeah, I was just going to say, because that's but then that's still only a quarter of the entire.
It's not a quarter. It's because half is 30 inches by 24 inches, but then minus 9 inches, so it's 21 by 24 inches. Or 21 by 44 inches. Still just barely doesn't fit. You're 76 knoblars short.
No. Well, who wants to even play anymore, huh, Chris?
Yeah.
Flip this table. All right, there's everything on top of it. I barely even made a dent. Elves Cav versus Chaos Cav. I mean, yeah, I guess we could do it. We don't have to do it with ogres and Skaven. Like, we could even do that with another army, you know. I feel like you would like to play giants. I feel like you would enjoy giants. Is that totally crazy?
Probably.
Right?
I probably would like to play them.
Yeah.
I don't want to paint like 4. And I feel like that would take a long time painting like 4
models?
Baby dolls, basically. Like, they're huge.
I think that would still take a lot less time than... Like, wouldn't it take less time to paint one giant than... Like, what is the equivalent? A screaming bell.
A stonehorn?
Yeah, stonehorn. Or they're about the same amount of points.
Yeah. Or like 12 gluttons.
12 gluttons.
Ish.
Yeah.
It's like 480 points. So.
Yeah. I feel like it might be... I think it'd be faster.
That's true.
And you
but I have to paint 4 of them.
What's that?
But I have to paint 4 of them. And
Yeah, but then I don't know. I feel like it'd be faster for me. But I would also start with the airbrush and get like most of it laid out using that and then kind of go from there, you know.
That's true. I'm not really an airbrush painter though, so it would probably take me a while. I would definitely airbrush like their skin tone, but as soon as I got to like highlights and stuff, I'd be moving on to a regular brush, like skin tone highlights.
Yep, that'd be cool. I have an idea too. I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you after, because it's like this. I don't know. It's like this cool idea. I think that I wanna bounce it off of you, and then if we can actually do it, that would be cool. Damn, you mean I'll have to stop after 380 clan rats? No, just you won't be able to fit it in your deployment zone. You can keep going. And by the way, the table sizes that we play on are only the suggested size. They've always only ever been the suggested size. If you're talking about in tournaments, another matter altogether. But, you know, what you do in the privacy of your own home, Warpstone, is your business. Don't let GW get in the way of that. Don't let the government get in the way of that. That's right. Yeah, the most I've ever played with in a game of just clan rats, I think it was it was over 200. I think it was 240.
No thanks.
Yeah, it wasn't fun, but it was like a meme list, and no, they weren't all painted, and it was under my old paint scheme. But in AOS 1, and it wasn't even a Skaven list because it was General Chaos. This is before AOS 2 came out, and my Grey Seer was my general. And if the Grey Seer was your general, you could take. Oh no, it was a command ability, and back in the day, the command abilities only got used on your general. That's why they're called command abilities, right? And you didn't pay any points for them or do anything like that. There was no resource. It was just only your general could do it. So I had the Grey Seer inside these hundreds of clan rats, and I had some storm vermin too, I think. And then he had this ability where if one of them ran away due to battle shock, then you roll a dice, and on a 4-up, they just don't run away. So like if you had let's say you were going to be overkilled by that, it didn't matter, because even if you only had 2 guys or 1 guy, right? You just roll the dice and they just don't leave. The numbers have nothing to do with it. So it was just kind of fun. So I just had this Grey Seer in the middle, and I just pushed everything up and just took board control, and that's all I did.
Yeah.
It felt very Skaven, but it was pretty boring. And I like to kill things, as everyone knows. So
Yeah. I found out that you can run 300 Noblars in a list legally. And I think everyone would hate you if you ran that many.
I think that's a pretty safe
here's
bet.
300 time models that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Also, if you move anywhere near them,
right,
they're just gonna fling poo at you the entire time.
And it's only if you get doubling up doesn't make a difference, right?
No, it doesn't stack.
Okay, so yeah, that would be obnoxious. Back in 4th edition Warhammer Fantasy, you could play 300 Skaven. Yeah, you could do Skaven slaves. That was one of the moves, was you put them around the bell. Horrible. And Skaven slaves were only in metal, by the way. So that kind of crushed my 11-year-old dreams. But yeah, 50 by 20. Yeah. Oh, Carson's disappeared into the... Oh, he's back from the meat dimension. It was a short trip. Different time zone, though. So he's blurring in and out of reality of that delicious, delicious looking steak. That awkward position. Oh, man. She looks so sweet.
She's not. She's not.
Yeah.
My hollow dog.
We can't hear that. We can see it, but
she sounds like a gourd.
Oh dear. Oh man. Well, I think we're gonna call it. Oh God, no. This is definitely an after dark kind of thing, huh? Well, thank you everyone for hanging out with us. I will be here tomorrow. I don't think Carson will.
I might be able to pop into the chat, but very unlikely that I'll be able to pop on.
I think it starts at 8, and I think it goes for an hour. But we'll see. But me and Kenrick will be here with bells on. Yeah, thanks to everyone for hanging out tonight. We will see you tomorrow. And is there anything else I'm forgetting? I feel like there is. Okay.
Nope.
But yeah, thanks for hanging out with our nonsense. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Hopefully some really cool announcements. So, bye-bye.